Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look.
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Yeah, clear.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's Dr. Homebrew. We're back again here for our second show in July 2018.
19.
Did your earphone fall off, dude?
Yeah.
Your pad?
Yep. I lost my pad.
Wow. You're going to say that same phrase in about 30 years when you're in the old folks. I lost my pad again.
If he makes it that long, you think his liver's going to make it until then? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I need more data inputs to properly chart that.
How do you like this beer I'm drinking, JP? It's called the Electric Eye.
And it looks like dirt water.
It's a pale ale from San Francisco, California.
If that's a pale ale, I'm fucking Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you.
No, look at Bev.
I'm always struggling
swapping
with headphones.
them out.
Like, remember that last time I was like playing like a cat with a ball of yarn to get that thing untied? I was determined. Like, thank you.
Was
Yeah, look at that.
Was that in Portland or was that here?
Here. It was here.
I don't really remember much that goes on here.
Yeah, it's probably better that way.
It is.
Oh, this is the one that only comes out one ear. I'm going to fix this. I'm determined.
Oh, God, here we go. That's what we need is Brian
Talk to
distracted.
you guys 10 minutes from now.
I'm just going to leave it on him.
I think that'd be great. It's like, what is it, AMR, AMAR, or whatever? ASMR? Where they just like do the sounds like really deep into the microphone and everything's turned up super high. Yeah, it's just the sound. Yeah, I don't know. The show is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, our good friends at 5 Star. Go to 5starchemicals.com and learn everything you need to know to keep brewing great beer or to at least start. Because if you're not using 5 Star, you're probably not making the greatest beer. And who doesn't want to make the greatest beer they can? Excuse me.
You don't just want 3 stars on your beer.
No, homie, you want 5 Star. And the 5 Star people, PBW and Star Sand, man, that's the combo. That's the combo you need to be using.
And then put beer
Clean
in
all your stuff, yeah. And if you're a contestant on the show, or not a contestant, but a guest, they give you a little price back for sending us beer.
Call them contestants? That would be better.
Contestant one!
Maybe we can do like match up. We can get start having people dating on the show and get like couples match up people with.
We should have a homebrew dating site, it'd be like 4 women and 1 million dudes.
It would be all of the ugly people.
No.
No offense.
You mean all the homebrewers?
There'd be a lot of ugly people.
Are you calling us ugly?
No.
How many attractive homebrewers have you ever seen?
She's going to have to pour you out.
How many attractive homebrewers? Like I've seen a couple attractive dudes. I've seen a few attractive women. Dudes can be handsome, right? It's all right. It's not gay. And even if it was, who cares?
How about master beer judges? How many, handsome master beer judges are there out there?
Well, I know only 2. So to answer your question, there are 0 out there.
Gordon Strong and
yeah,
and Brian Shaw are 2 not attractive people. I think you guys are better looking than Gordon and Brian. How about that?
Wow. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
No, my idea for the reality show would be to replace Keith. We just get on 3 eligible beer roulets and, interview them.
I'm sorry. What?
Bachelor beers.
That made no sense. I was like, what is going on?
The key is to pick a word that's easy to pronounce, I think, and that will go far.
3 contestants, let's say.
This is Keith's last show, very last recording of Dr. Homebrew that he will do in the studio unless he happens to time a vacation out here properly, and I'm sure that's the last thing he wants. Actually, that's not true. I'm sure it's the first thing you would want to do if you're on vacation out here.
My family, hey, I got to go. I have to go to a show, the Dr. Homebrew show right now.
Hey, guys, let's take a family vacation. No, I already have a vacation planned, and it doesn't involve you.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta do shows. Yeah, he's leaving. He's moving to Nantucket or something.
That's too far east.
Providence, Rhode Island.
No, I would never move to New England. Those people suck.
Well, no, Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's New England.
No, that's too bad.
He's
Sorry,
moving to
everybody else
Boston.
who lives in New England, I apologize, but you suck.
And so does your beer, by the way.
Yes, and your beer.
Your beer's trash. But you're probably fine people.
Yeah,
Probably.
Probably.
Maybe.
Like, person to person, you're okay. As a group, you all suck.
As a demographic? No. That is our fastest growing region listening to the Brewing Network, so...
Nice. Especially the ad you had last show about Concord. I'm sure they're really excited about that New England region.
Hey, we're gonna read it again. So
Nice.
You haven't heard the last of it, my friend.
I'm sure there's a Concord somewhere in New England and people are very confused.
They're like, wait a minute, huh? I don't get it.
Is there like a Vermont? Like
Concord, Vermont.
Yeah. Sounds like it would be like something stupid like that. And they'd add like 3 R's at the end of it. Concord.
So for Keith's last show, we are going to do two commercial calibrations, which is really just an excuse for us to drink beers in our cellars that we brought to kind of wish Keith farewell. But it's not going to be just normal, like we're going to be sitting around drinking. We're going to analyze them as if they were commercial calibrations. But some of these beers are going to be a little hard to find. Hopefully they can be entertaining for you. They meaning Brian and Keith in discussing the flavors, and I'm going to try as much as my small brain can
I'm
help.
not talking at all. This is going to be all JP. Yeah, I know.
Keith's already done working.
I have left. I'm already checked out.
He's the guy who puts in his 2 weeks and then sleeps in the bathroom during his breaks.
This time we're bringing into my cellar, so can I get some reverb on this mic, please?
No, you can't. Actually, yes, you can.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brian. Why don't you go ahead and
all right.
walk into the cellar.
Go walking into the cellar.
This bit's gay. All right.
I'm in the cellar.
All right. What beers do you have down there, Brian?
I found a Fuller's 2012 Vintage Ale.
A Fuller's 2012 Vintage
Limited
Ale.
Edition. It's a number 115966.
All right. Grab. Tell me the other beers and then come out.
The other beer is a Dry Fontaine Oud Creek. However you say that.
All right. Get back in the studio. We need you here. All right, welcome back.
Are you wearing clogs? It's not like you're wearing clogs.
Yes, I'm tap dancing.
A Fuller's Vintage Ale from 2012. Now, this is readily available, right? I have one that's... they
make this. You can just buy it and set it
but...
down and age it and do verticals with it. It's a fun beer to keep around.
And they still do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, historically, they've had it here at Monument Liquors in Concord. They've had multiple vintages of it, so you could buy a couple and just, the older ones are more expensive, but...
You could possibly get an apartment in Concord and then go to Monument Liquors and get some of this and then go back to your apartment that's going to be built and then drink it.
In Concord. And then live here until you die.
Yeah.
Which will be shortly.
That's your story arc.
So this is individually packed and numbered. This bottle is one of only 125,000 produced.
Oh, well, that's not too bad. And then the other one is...
Thousands on the next line down here. Like
Sour Cherry Creek.
Yeah. It's a fruit lambic.
Well, let's go. What are we waiting for, guys?
All right. Break out the glasses.
Here you go. Let me pass you these. This is our farewell to Keith moment. And then while y'all doing that, are you a professional brewer planning on submitting your beer to GABF? As you're preparing your next medal-winning recipe, send some of your finished beers to White Labs for their next big QC day and save on a bundle of analytical services. All you need to do is purchase a big QC day test kit before August 6th and get your samples submitted before August 20th. White Labs will test your beers for IBUs, alcohol content, calories, attenuation, and more. To learn more about this great cost-saving program, visit whitelabs.com/bigqcday. Don't worry about what's happening with your beer. Test it.
Did you say cost saving?
Cost saving.
They need to save me from the Midwest, I guess.
Save you from the not clog saving.
You're going to do a lot of cost saving in the near future.
Hell
I am
yeah.
moving to Nebraska, Omaha. If anybody's interested in visiting me there.
Nobody. It will give out your address.
The home of the Omaha Steak.
Prison number 485927. That's his inmate number. He's actually going to jail for kicking a dude at a homebrew conference.
No,
yeah.
It was worse than that.
Okay, this is the vintage ale. Brian,
so
what would you enter a vintage ale? What is this, like an old ale, I guess?
It's an old ale.
An old ale, okay. So it'd be the old ale category.
So in the guidelines, they change the commercial examples they list from time to time when they update their guidelines. So this was one that was in the 2008 guidelines that I used as a commercial example of an old ale. When it's aged, it's good. No, but for some reason they have different ones listed in the 2015 guidelines, but it doesn't change it. It fits the profile. It's 8.5% alcohol. Old ales can go up to around 9 or thereabouts, and it's it fits the profile pretty well. So
okay.
And it's a 17B in the current style guidelines.
17B.
Yeah.
All right. You old ale heads out there. I know there's a lot of them out there.
There's a wide range, too. Like the Old Peculiar is on the lighter side. They
That's a good one, man.
Darker side.
I used to drink a ton of that
for
stuff.
color, right? Yeah, but lighter alcohol. They can go down to 5.5% on some of the old ales. I don't know if I would judge that. I suppose I'd have to judge that well, but I'm used to the old ales more in the 7.5 to 9% kind of range.
Yeah, this is 8.5.
This is 8.5.
But it doesn't taste like it.
No, it's damn smooth.
Yeah, it really is. And dare I say a little thin? I don't know. I haven't had an old ale in a long time, but I would imagine them a little chewier.
It's gone 6 years, so
No,
I think
that's
the
true.
body can decline a little bit as they age.
And
Tell me about
that's
it.
actually something to think about. Like when you're brewing one of these, is like if you're going to age them for that long, you may want to make a chewier sort of beer to start with, a thicker beer, and that's actually I find like something like a wee heavy. Getting back to that, like it's something it's really good to almost like, hey, after you age it for a while, then enter it as an old ale. Although the old ale category now, like it is 1088, so that probably is a little bit low, but. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing where you want to think about when you're gonna enter the beer, how you make it, and how you actually change what you're doing with it, and not actually just like, hey, I'm just gonna brew it as a recipe says I'm gonna brew it. Like, think about when you're gonna serve it, when it's gonna be in its prime, and that may not be something you learn for 5 years,
right?
But if you've been brewing for as long as some of us have, then you start to think about those things, and you're like, yeah, I can see that, like where that would be and where that would take me, and all that sort of stuff. Where I was aging beers here in the cool summers in San Francisco, when I move up to upstate Minnesota, it's going to be a lot warmer in the summer.
That's true.
So it is really freaking hot in the summers in Minnesota. It's awful.
When the humidity goes
recommend
nuts.
that nobody moves there ever.
Although Duluth is a good beer city.
No, that's true. That's what we hear. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, and that's kind of what you guys have talked about on the show a few times is planning ahead. Planning ahead, figuring out what you're going to brew, when it's going to be consumed, and modify things for that. And I think tasting beers that have aged, that you have sat down, will help you formulate that recipe and decide what flavors you want, because it helps you figure out what these grains turn into.
I need to get better at that planning ahead thing.
It's easier. When I was like a maniac at one point, I would do barley wine every single year. And sometimes years I was doing 2 barley wines. And it
Same
was
recipe or
pretty much.
Yeah.
And there was one in my bag I had today that was really based off my recipe, but in my bag.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was easier to like sort of see how things progress when you're doing the same beer every year. And then kind of like a commercial brewery, you can make slight changes. Like, let me change the yeast up. Let me split a batch and see what happens there. And start playing with different elements. But then you get older and you're like, or you get bored with the stuff and you start making it once every 3 years, and then you lose touch exactly what you want to do and all that with it. So that's, I mean, like, you really love something, spend a lot of time on it and really figure out like what's the best. You can really get close to something where you really want. It sounds like a relationship sort of show now. I don't know what's going on here, but you can get really close to it. But no, I mean,
love
you really
draft lines.
You really can
with
understand
Keith.
it. You can really understand what you're doing with a beer a lot more, obviously. And there's some people that are really crazy with this. They do like the same beer like 10 times in a row or whatever. But like with barley wines, you need the aging and all that sort of stuff anyway. So it's a good beer to do once a year and just sort of figure some stuff out that way.
What do you think about this vintage ale? I personally think that 6 years is a little too long. It's a little too thin, a little too watery, and kind of just not really. There's some cool funk going on. But for the most part, it's just kind of, I don't know, not really awesome. Am I wrong?
There's some nice esters, I think, that are still there. I do agree with you with the thinness of it. Yeah.
I like the nose. It's got Venice kind of character and very fruity.
Yeah, I guess almost like pineapple a little bit. It's all these crazy aromas in it that pineapple upside down cake or something.
There's
like
a
that
little bit of
going on.
kind of nuttiness, treacle kind of going on in there too. The alcohol's low and smooth. It's not poking out sharply at all. It's a little sherry-like. Got some some Maillard products in there, and it's got a little haze. Looks like it's not super dark though. It's kind of
Was it bottle conditioned and then it got upset a little bit, or
it
no?
probably did. Yeah, I think these are all bottle conditioned.
I think so.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So.
So it's been in my car all day, running around, bouncing around in the back there in a cooler. But so yeah, it might have been clearer just off the shelf, but you can get some haze in the body of the beer too as they age. I don't pop one of these open very often. This I think probably is my last one.
Of this, did you buy a bunch for this same year? Or
Well,
what?
I had a couple of the 2012, and then I had some 2010 that I tasted a while back when it was kind of hitting its prime. And yeah, this might like you said, it might be a little past its prime. And the flavor, it's you get some of that Venice and a little sherry like and a little nuttiness, but it's got a little tang to it. It's not quite tart.
No, Bev, not venison.
Sorry, that's what I heard.
Bev the
Venison.
dummy.
Wine like.
Venison? It tastes like venison? Actually, it does get a little gamey. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Gamey.
Nailed it.
Good job. When's your BJCP test?
I'm actually taking it right now.
Oh, shit. All right. Study well, dude.
She's taking the test.
No. God. Really? Venison?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I think when she meant right now, she meant like right now. She's taking it.
Yeah.
So.
She's taking the practice exam in there.
God.
Literally right now.
There is some caramel though. There's some
Yeah.
turtle as well. I'm kidding. Other animals.
And turtleneck.
Is there a bitterness? I mean, is this here? First of all, is
The
this
bitterness has
is
faded
this
a
barrel?
lot. So
It's not
like
barrel aged, is
the,
it?
the fruitiness is coming out more, and the
Oh, fuck. It says bottle conditioned. right
wine
on the
like
bottle.
yeah, it's bottle conditioned. It's wine like. It's more wine like than beer like almost at this point. It's like a little
Venison, yeah.
acidic, venison like.
Yeah.
Sorry. This is the worst commercial calibration ever.
Yeah, but you know what? That's why I said at the beginning, it's more of a going away party for Keith than it is really
And like
a
most
lot of
parties, I'm
information.
not talking very much. I'm over here sitting in the corner by myself. So
Okay. I'm gonna turn my mic off
A
now.
wallflower. So, what would you give this beer if you were judging it as a 6-year-old old ale?
66.
When I was judging as a 6-year-old, I wasn't really good at this.
But you were never an old ale.
I drank some of my dad's beer accidentally. No, my dad didn't drink beer.
Wow, that explains some things.
What do you think?
Sorry, just kidding.
It's tough to, yeah. It's got a lot of the elements that you want in there.
But yeah, but it is kind of thin still too. So
Yeah, I'd say 35.
Thinning out.
that's it. But that's all right. That's what you gave that Founders on the last show.
Yeah.
Right.
This is going the wrong direction. The Founders only has room to
Yeah.
improve. This is going downhill.
This is going downhill.
Huh. Okay.
They're meeting
33.
each other right now. It's like two.
You think that Founders beer would improve? And well, I guess you would. Yeah, it's kind of hot. Okay. No, I see what you're saying.
And I didn't mention the score. I was right around. I was said 30. 38 is what I said before. You said 39 for the smoked beer, but
Okay.
that was the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one. The second one would have been more like mid to lower. Because
The scores don't really
declining
matter
fast.
anyway, as we all know. But
No.
Yeah, but it does make you, when you're entering a beer, you want to think about the age of that beer and what age it's going to be when they judge it. You know, if there's an entry window that's like a month ahead of something,
Yeah.
you know, you want to put your IPA in before it really has hit its prime and kind of guess where it's hopefully going to go.
Well,
So,
right, and the only way you
whatever,
can know
yeah.
that is by brewing a bunch of it and drinking it at various stages, and then maybe
Yeah.
even take notes. Right, like I know that my IPA takes 2 weeks from bottling to age out.
Yeah.
So
I guarantee you
Whatever.
there's some brewers, that brew that figure out the day they want to brew it and probably take that day off of work if they're
Oh, yeah,
brewing
for sure.
like NHC or
oh,
something.
there's
more than
crazy
you
people like
think.
that.
Yeah.
And they still lose.
You know, like probably Nick Brewer.
it's not a science.
What would you give it, Brian?
33.
33.
It's,
Okay.
it's slid downhill too
Pour
far.
that other one. Let's pour the sour beer, please. Someone.
Okay.
Let's do that because I'm assuming we're done. I think we're done with the vintage ale. I think I have one of these that is like the first one, which is 97. But I just left it in the box in the bottle and put it with my bottle collection, and it's never seen a free refrigerator.
So we didn't really talk
and I'm
about
not going to open
the
it.
body of the old ale should have a medium to full chewy body. But it says, although older examples may be lower in body due to continued attenuation during conditioning.
Okay.
So alcohol warmth is often evident. There's not too much alcohol warmth, even though it's 8.5%. There's a little bit there, but it's not too heavy. It's just really smooth alcohol. That's one thing you can say for it. And when it's younger, it's pretty smooth beer for even, you get a fresh bottle of it. It's not like, oh, this is undrinkable. I have to wait for 3 years to drink it. You can drink it fairly young, a year out, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like eat something anyway, too, so it's not like it's going to clobber you in the head with the alcohol. Yeah, judge this as an aged example. It's going down.
Okay, perfect.
Sadly, but I held on to it a little too long. It was time to open it. Tonight's the night.
It happens. Okay, next is the Dre-Fontaine Ode Creek blended lambic beer brewed with sour cherries aged in oak, 12.7 fluid ounces, product of Belgium.
Yes.
What category is this?
This is a fruit lambic.
Fruit lambic.
You go looking forward.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The numbers don't matter. The numbers don't matter. It's
just that aroma is like that's the sour cherry, but it's the minerality of the water. It's like a clean, crisp water profile. It sounds like, or it smells like. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just smelling a glass of spring water.
It sounds pretty crisp as well.
There you go. Keith, you want to start talking about this beer?
Not really. But
look, motherfucker, you have 45 minutes of work left.
Wow. No, I mean, I love lambics, and that's where I'll start with this. I mean, how old is this one, by the way?
It says it was bottled in May 2nd, 2016. And it says it's good until October 26th, 2036.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean, like, you really want to drink the fruit ones when they're kind of younger and fresher and still have a lot of that fruit flavor. Some of the Ode Goose and stuff like that, you'd want to maybe age more. But, I mean, obviously a big cherry note, but you also get some of that almond note. Like, you get a pretty strong aroma of that as well. Some funk, a little bit of. It's not enteric necessarily, but
hay.
Yeah, hay, little barnyard there as well. Sourness is not really detectable in smell.
But if you had to guess,
yeah, you know the beer style, but it's not. Yeah. It's not acidic in any way. Obviously, no hops. These beers tend to use. Aged hops that have no aroma left over, really have no alpha acid. They're just mostly for preservative sake. Color-wise,
it's a great little ruby.
Yeah, no head though on
Ruby
mine
John.
at least.
No, not on mine either.
Brian has a head on his. I'm not sure what's going
Looks
on.
Looks like a little wine glass.
Oh yeah, it might be the glass.
Looks like a red wine. A little bit, maybe a little bit, a tinge of brownish more than a red wine, but just a tinge there.
What do you think?
Yeah, still a lot of great flavor there. So it still has a lot of fruit flavor, which is what I always worry about these. Like after they age for somewhat long, this is kind of a newer one. Has a lot of great cherry flavor. Has some of that almond flavor as well. Sourness is, I'd say, medium high, but in no way acidic. Not a lot of sweetness though. Pretty dry. Pretty. We read about the mineral. Like even the finish is kind of mineral heavy, and
it's clean, and it doesn't taste like a cherry lambic. I mean, it does sort of on the surface. To me, this tastes like a mass-produced, like if Sam Adams was making a friggin' cherry lambic, that's what this would be like.
What?
Just kind of middle of the road. Not really. There's not a whole lot there. I
think you're crazy.
Sam Adams is the only. I just came out. I didn't mean anything personal by it, so don't be offended, Brian. I know it's your favorite brewery.
No, it's not. To me, it smells and tastes like a traditional. Who creeks did you get? It's aged.
Yeah. Does it really?
Funky, gnarly. I mean, the opposite of like the mass-produced. Like the bright, fruity, sweet ones that you get out on the market that brewed from mass.
No, I'm not talking like sweet, but it just.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of not really as. I mean, you get a little bit of the funk, but it's not really as present as I would like it to be. Because I've had this beer before. Like you said, these aren't super hard to find, but they're not commonplace. I've had it before, and I don't know. I seem to remember it being in my mind's palate a little bit more. I don't know.
They do. I mean, they do change depending on the age of them. Sometimes they're a little more sour as they age, and they get a little bit drier and a little bit funkier. And I think this one, I mean, to me, it tastes kind of like kind of like where it's at its best peak right now. You know, it has a lot of that fruit character. Still is really enjoyable in that way. Has some of the funk. The sourness is kind of subtle for me, at least. Pretty
I think what it is
sourness.
Maybe sometimes these beers have the funk is more off-putting than it is complimentary. Like it's a little more musky and musty than
Gamey?
funk. Yes, thank you, Beverly. A little more gamey, but you know what I mean, like a little more moldy, musty than funky, and maybe that kind of it sits right in the middle of my tongue and just doesn't really kind of go away, and maybe that's more distracting than anything else.
Carbonation seems a little low on this.
What did you do to it, Brian?
I drove around with it in my car all day.
God, you would. That sounds like something exactly that you would do.
And he actually didn't go to work. He just skipped work so he could drive around in the car all day with beers in the back of the car.
Oh, man.
Burned through 2 tanks of gas, just driving around, man.
What would you give this beer, Keith?
I still think it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's really hard if it's like a homebrew scale sort of thing. Getting something like this, I would probably still be like 40 or something along those lines.
This would be yes. If this was a homebrew beer, I'd give it a 41. How about that? You should one up you, yeah. Brian, what about you, man?
42.
Oh shit. Keith and I are gonna kick your ass now.
I was gonna say like 40-ish. It's right there. It's right there. Aroma wise for me, it's got that Brett funk, and I like the aroma to me a little better than the flavor because it's got that. You get the cherry, you get that. I agree with the almond and the hay and the barnyard. It's just like got this neat kind of edge to it. It's like just. The Brett comes shining through, and it's like you can tell this is a well-made lambic. It's like this is the real deal, and the fruit is still there. It smells like it's going to be really sour, even though you can't tell sourness. But yeah, your brain tells you get ready for something sour because there's all this other stuff in there. And appearance-wise, I really like the appearance, other than the head not really being there, but that's okay. But it's just a really pretty wine-like beer with a bright, a deep red, brownish kind of tinged red that is pretty, and it's really clear. Flavor wise, it's got cherries and currants and raspberries and all kinds of just fruit like flavors in there that meld really well together. I like that, and it's it's kind of medium dry and kind of medium sour. It's less funk than I would think from the nose. I was like, oh, this is going to be a bitingly sour and really intense. But it's got a little, not sweetness, but the perception of sweetness. Like the sourness kind of tricks you into thinking, wow, this is going to be, or, this is a little sweet, but, I'm sure it's dry as a bone. You hydrometer this, it'll be 0, whatever.
Yeah, I would agree.
But, it comes through in a nice way. And that balance is the fruit to the sourness. It's nicely balanced. I really like this beer. Excellent.
What would you give it? No, you said low 40s?
40-ish, yeah.
40-ish, okay.
Yeah, and there's different variants of the, lambic styles. Different producers do different things. And, like for example, Hansen's is always kind of a tough one to get through. It's always tends to be really sour, like puckeringly sour.
It's so dry.
And sometimes you get bottles that are just completely flat, and you're like, that's awesome, thanks, man. And you drink a little bit of it, you're like, that's burning my throat right now. And
I like it though.
But I like it too. But
it has its time and place.
I would like to blend that with this one right here, and a little bit of that, maybe like a quarter of that to 3/4 of this would be like the perfect blend on something like that. And people were like, damn you, how can you even question the blending of Grey Fontaine, but and it's like, this one's still young, and they, again, they're thinking about probably age and where it's going to be at some point. Maybe not. I don't know.
2036.
But that seems ridiculous for 2036. I think for fruit lambics, it is a better idea to drink them fresh while the fruit's still fresh. And I say that, and I have a bunch of Cantillons sitting in my basement that are all fruit based, and they're just sitting there.
Notice he didn't bring one of those in.
You drink it in 20 years. Why did they even put fruit in this beer? Because it's just gone, you know.
Yeah, I could have brought one of those in, but
I know. Clearly, you have them. You could have brought one in.
Yeah. He's saving them to give to me.
No, that's all right.
I have one. The one I gave my wife the option of a nice bottle of champagne or a bottle of Lupepe Creek when I proposed to her. And she said no to all 3 questions. Sorry, just kidding.
Nice.
So that's when we got divorced to my other wife.
Yeah.
We had a kid. It was a whole thing. Let's take a break here real fast, boys. And then we'll come back. We're going to drink some Oud Goose. We're going to keep the sour beer going. And then we have a bottle of Dark Lord. Don't ask me the year because, well,
It's 2017.
it's a whole thing. We'll be right back. It's Dr. Homebrew.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
Now, back to the examination.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. It is the examination, Dr. Homebrew. We're doing commercial beers right now for Keith's going away show. He's no longer going to be with us. If you know what I mean, yes, we are pouring fresh concrete as we speak right now to get ready to eliminate Keith from the face of the earth.
I am moving to Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana, and I will be dead there. That's where everyone goes to die.
Yeah, the glove sound you just heard is the guy waiting to do full cavity search on his way out. Make
That's
sure he
right.
didn't steal anything from the brewing network.
Yeah, well, if he could find anything. So our last segment, Keith's going away segment, we are drinking an Ode Boon Goose Black Label, which apparently Keith ruined my, I thought this would be a nice bottle to bring because whatever, Keith's like, oh, you can buy this in the U.S. I have 500 cases of them, along with the Cantillon that I didn't bring in. So,
this is from JP's
careful,
cellar.
I have
No, that's Keith.
Oh,
200 sour beers in my basement. So it's like if there is a sour beer.
And how are you bringing them? You're driving them over?
I am going to, that's why I'm going to take my car and just load it up. And then just drive them, yes.
God bless. So after we drink this, we're going to have a Dark Lord. Now, I swear to God, on everything that Bev holds holy and dear and true to herself, that this beer was like 5 years old when someone sent it to me years ago with a version of their smoke beer, Three Floyds, whatever this is.
17 years ago.
And I was like, okay, so I had it in the thing. I'm like, let's bring this because I think that'll be fun to try on the show because God knows I'm never going to drink a full bottle of, what is this, Russian Imperial Stout or whatever. Yes. And then we're trying to figure out what year it is, and Brian looks up on his phone or whatever, and it was like, oh, it's 2017, Jason. No, I've had this beer
today. What the heck?
I've had this beer for 5 years.
I think it's younger than that.
I believe everything I read on the interwebs too.
Well,
it had a green top with
a green top with sparkles, yeah.
And it has the new version of the label.
But I've had this bottle in my fridge for 5 years minimum.
Okay. So we decided it was time travel. There's definitely a time travel thing going on right here with this beer.
I've been in a time warp before.
And there's a lot of questions as a beer judge. As a master beer judge, you can't figure this out. As a grandmaster 2 or 3, they can tell you the rules about time travel and how that affects beer.
It's like Scientology.
No, if a beer gets too oxidized, you just send it back in time and it removes some of the oxidation. And it cleans up the alcohol, too, which is amazing. I'm not sure why it works that way. It's something they haven't figured out yet. Mm-hmm. But the oxidation, we know that it goes away when you time travel backward with it. So somebody must have had this, and it was a little too oxidized. Maybe it was like somebody from 2022 sent it to you.
And they sent it back.
They sent it back.
They handed it to Superman, and he flew around the world really
they're probably
fast.
listening right now. They're probably so pissed off that
we're spoiling the thing.
It took 5 years to drink it, and it was oxidized already then. They cleaned up. It only cleans up like 50% of oxidation when you send it back in time. So it was ready in around 2014.
Yeah.
But the question is, if they're listening to it right now, and they send it to you in 2022, would they know that they sent it to you already or not? Like, would they even know what was going on with that in that point?
Or if they listen to the show and decide.
What's even amazing is, are you still alive in 2022?
Give it to you. Because they were saying,
they felt bad about your being dead, and they were like, "Wow, I have to send them something in the past. I feel bad for."
Bev, we shouldn't have done this bit. It's not working out too well.
It's not.
But anyway, I don't know, man. I agree with you. I think it is time travel. I wish it was time travel, but I don't know how it fucking happened. I have no idea how it happened. But I swear to God, I've had this bottle in my fridge forever. Maybe it's not this one. Maybe I had a different one. Maybe I had another one.
You'll go home and like, oh, that was the one.
Maybe someone gave it to me at like my Christmas party or something like that.
So the older ones have the dude like farther away in the background, and his horn's going to stick out.
Well, whatever. We'll figure it out later. Let's try this this goose.
Yeah, the black
little green peppery.
Yeah, I get like gasoline.
Some tropical fruit.
What tropical fruit? I get straight kerosene.
Passion fruit.
Yeah, passion fruit.
Passion fruit?
A little bit of pineapple.
I think that's tripping.
But not like fresh crushed pineapple, like pineapple that's been sitting in a bowl for a little while and kind of
sent back in time.
Sent back in time. Back in time.
Yeah, but it is like canned pineapple, where it doesn't really have like that pop or that spice or that sourness. It just
the sharp ping.
Yeah,
it's gone. Yeah.
This is look at that, imported from Belgium. I thought it was cool. Cool. Anyway, who wants to start? Let's talk about this beer. Come on, let's go. No one wants to hear us.
I thought we were talking about it.
Well, there was a big silence, so I want to get it going.
This is a union. We only were slated to do 2 commercial calibrations on this show. We can't.
Hey, this was your idea.
A third without.
Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, I wanted to taste all the beer. You're right.
Yeah, we brought a bunch of beer in. We're like, well, let's just drink it all.
It's fun. It's a lot different than the beer we just tasted. It has a lot more character to it. It's a lot funkier. It's not necessarily that much more sour. It's a little bit more sour, but it's...
I never really... I mean, not never, but I mean, these brands are kind of brands you can kind of find anywhere in the U.S., I think. At least over here on the West Coast. And they're never really sour. They're more funky than sour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I like. I think that's great.
I think a lot of the American sours are way too sour.
I agree.
Too much acetic. And, yeah, this is really... there's no acetic here at all. There is definitely a little... the aroma's a little off-putting, like you're saying. Some of the diesel maybe character or whatever, but...
And I got some in the flavor, but either it's going away or my palate is adjusting because I don't really get it so much anymore. And I'm actually really severely enjoying this beer. It is that funky... There is that kind of dank, dusty basement bottom.
Mm-hmm. A little mustiness.
Like in the Dre Fontaine, but it's not as aggressive as it was in the Dre Fontaine. It's a lot smoother and more reserved. I wish I had a basement to go into.
Yeah,
to
the
get
fruit kind of brings out a sweeter edge to the fruit lambic, whereas this is just dry, and I mean it's still got it's sour enough that you taste that fruitiness.
Yeah.
Kind of flavor, but I don't know, like crushed canned pineapple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And it's the effervescence drives a lot more flavor too, so it's like it's more it's prickly and it's kind of champagne-like in a way.
It is very champagne-like, and I think that's really good quality about it.
Cool.
It makes it really refreshing, and it's a these age well. Like this is kind of the beer you'd want to play.
This I've had for 25 years. So no, at least for 2 years.
Yeah, no,
year and a half, 2 years.
They're still they're good now, but it's the fruit ones are the ones you want to drink sooner.
Absolutely.
This one you could drink in 10 years and you could still
not as mineral hard either. This one's a little bit softer in general in terms of that, and which is kind of weird because some of them are I find to be a little more like Gerard and Black Label is a pretty hard mineral character to it, and this. I didn't find having a huge mineral character to it.
I like that it's not vinegary at all. There's no, I mean, I'm not getting any acetic in here.
No, not
it's just nice, clean funk, a little bit of funk, and a lactic sour, but not too intense.
No, it's very good. And talking about the carbonation, I at first thought it was too much. But I don't know how this beer would be with less carbonation. I don't know if it'd be as enjoyable.
You can have some of the lambics that exist. Like I have a couple of them at home. Probably the pronunciation I will Brusquela. The Cantillon Brusquela is uncarbonated lambic.
Well, I'm glad you didn't bring that in for us to try. That sounds really good.
1900.
Yeah, that sounds too good for us, Brian.
Too good.
Yeah,
I've had a bunch before, so I didn't feel like I needed to.
Jesus. Yeah,
I've been to Cantillon twice, and they also have like their the young lambic they'll serve at other bars and stuff. Even there, like uncarbonated as well. So
and how is it?
It's not as good, really. Quite honestly, it's not. It's interesting, but it's not something that
it's cool to try. But you wouldn't do it more than once.
I would do it 3 times, but once every other couple of years with people I really like.
Oh shit! All right, so your family's not going to get any of it.
Yeah, my family's not getting any at all. That son of mine.
All right.
No, but no. Like I mean, there is something nice about the carbonation that goes well with these sort of beers and the drier they get, and just it's very champagne-like, and it's a kind of a cool.
I mean, that cork popped when you opened it, man.
Yeah, and it's warm though too. That's the other thing. So, but it wasn't like overflowing. It was up for a sec there, but it wasn't like the bottle's not growing or creeping right now as we're watching it. So
no, it's super balanced, and I think that's something to keep in mind when you're brewing these beers at home and you want to deliver them for competition. Is that carbonation is a very, very big part of how these beers are presented. I mean, and that's just kind of said over any beer, right? I mean, carbonation's very essential, but with something like this, where you have the tart, and you have the sweet, and you have the musty, and you have all that funk, that carbonation is going to, I think, help bring everything out and kind of help everything kind of coalesce together.
We were talking before about Hellas's and how hard they are to make.
Yeah.
I think this is easily way harder than we can get Hellas's. So,
the recipe is pretty simple. I mean, it's just a little,
and I thought I said something super obvious.
No, I used to do turbid mashes and try to make these and had many years and blend them and do all of that. And, and they all suck, And I was adding too much hops, and I was looking at recipes like of adding old hops, and they all ended up being too bitter, and I don't know, or cheesy because of the hop. It's really hard. Like it's not something easy to do, and to get like the right level of sourness, the right level of funk, just on a homebrew scale, it's really not easy to do. And then there's the whole thing about like spontaneous fermentation and what that really means,
right? The flora and fauna of the region.
And does that really mean anything or not? And what's really in the barrel? And there's people even in Belgium who laugh when people talk about like spontaneous fermentation. But then you go to like an NHC and people are talking about like we spend a lot of time on spontaneous fermentation. And I'm like, I didn't know this was going to be a spontaneous fermentation presentation. I'm going to leave.
What do you mean, like people in Belgium, they laugh? at spontaneous fermentation. Because you're right, the culture around sour beers is they're not ever going to taste the same as anywhere else because they spontaneous ferment, meaning there's stuff in the air, and it kind of depends on where you are.
Americans romanticize their beers and think it's magic, and to them it's just...
I don't know. I can tell you where it was, or I guess it doesn't matter. And I think no one in Belgium's going to listen to this show.
No.
The Dole is a brewery. If anybody's had their beers, the Ara beer is one beer they make. They actually make a couple sour beers that are really good.
Mm-hmm.
They have a cool ship. They used to have Rodenbach's yeast to do a lot more sour beers. And I guess that's something that's debatable. But hanging out with them and hanging out with some other brewers, the guy from, I'm not a big fan, but Panapot, the Struce Brewery.
The Struce,
yeah. And I met him. And
he's been on the session before.
Okay. He's kind of well, he said if you were a vegetarian, you were going to die within 3 years. And I've been vegetarian for 17, and my friend had been vegetarian for 25 years. He said his wife was a leading expert in Europe as a doctor, and you can't live longer than 3 years as a vegetarian. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You must be sneaking some meat,
Keith. Yeah. Anyway, so that's nothing to do with it. They were like laughing. We went to Cantillon. They were like, oh, Cantillon, ha-ha. Spontaneous fermentation, ha-ha, ha-ha, ha. That's all a bunch of crap.
From the rafters.
Yeah, but no. I mean, a lot of it, I mean, they're kind of right. I mean, a lot of it is in the barrel. And they clean the barrels, but they're in the wood. You still get the Brett living in the wood. I mean, there's a lot there, and I trust these people. I was kidding about the NHC, but there are a lot of people that know what they're doing and what's going on there. And you know, there's probably you could do tests, but that would kind of ruin some of the fun and the magic and the lore of lambic brewing if you would figure out exactly where everything's coming from and how much is coming from where. And you know, it used to be there were a lot more orchards and stuff outside the city, and Brussels now is sprawling, and it's like how much is really coming in. Like a lot of that is from fruit plants and stuff like that, and what is really, I don't know. So I'm not the expert on this, and I'm not but it's something that I think about, and I think probably a lot of it is probably coming from the wood more than anything else.
Well, yeah, but how did it get into the wood? I mean, to me, if you take a culture from the air and you inoculate a bunch of wood, it's still spontaneous fermentation. Is it though? Fuck, that's a good point.
Yeah, and even that, like, where are they relying on some lab somewhere to inoculate some stuff as well?
Yeah, then you can try to take a culture from the bottle, but who knows what's survived in there throughout the 2 years or however long.
One time I was at the Cantillon, I was talking to the older guy, the older brewer. I forget their names. I should know their names. Jeez, but I've been there twice. But so I was asking him all about the barrel.
Jean.
Like, how do you? Yeah, they're both Jean or something, I think. But like, how do you clean the barrels? Like, what do you do? Like, he's like, we have chains. We do this. He's like talking about this. Like, how hot does it get to you? How hot do you make it? And while I was trying to ask him these questions, this guy next to me from the U.S. kept asking questions about how you clean the bottles. I just wanted to kill him. I just was like, will you just shut up? And he's like, no, I want to know about the bottles. Like, those bottles you get are really great. Those are great bottles. Like, how do you clean those? And he's just like,
oh my God, they're fucking bottles, homie. Shut up.
Yeah, there's this fucking non-porous,
you're trying to get actual information, and this dude wants to know about cleaning glassware. Wow.
Man.
It was great. He's like, we don't wash the bottles at all. We just fill them. I was okay, whatever. He walked away at that point. I was like, we lost our whole conversation that we were going with there. I was really interested in what temperature, and he was going on Celsius. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, what does that are you trying to kill something in there, or what's going on? Like, how long? And do you ever have problems where the barrels leak? And this guy's asking questions about bottles next to me, and I just wanted to kill him.
Also, who interrupts a conversation to ask a different friggin' question?
Americans
on a beer tour. Yeah.
Human beings. Not just Americans.
If you want to do something from a bottle culture, though, I mean, and you don't know if they bottled it with something different than what it was fermented with, but it's better to do something younger instead of I saved this bottle for 6 years and I finally drank it. Like, who the hell knows what's still living in there? There's not.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or
it's gone.
Mutated possibly,
culture,
or who knows?
Balance has changed so much,
but that's a really great thing. I mean, for sour beers, it's really a great way to go is to use dregs of fresher, great sour beers.
Yep.
And taste them first before you're like, hey,
I'm
going to pour this into a glass and then dump it in. Like, no, taste it first.
That's what I do with the things that live in my closet.
That's right. Speaking of things that live in closets, I don't know. Let's open the Dark Lord and let's get that out of the way.
Where did this come? There's a New York bedazzled.
Who knows? Who knows? We get the weird
By the way,
nexus.
I'm moving to upstate New York.
Congratulations, man.
Rochester.
You're going to be making those keychains.
Oh.
I'm going to Rochester, New York. That was my college freshman roommate was from Rochester, New York.
Good story. You know what that is, Keith? That's a good story.
That's radio talk there.
People
It's
care.
almost as good as a time travel story.
Yeah.
Wait, tell that one again, please.
Dark Lord, man, people get bent out of shape about
the time story. If you think about the time story thing, it's fucking mind bending. If how would the beer age if you took it back in a time machine?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. Elon Musk will tell you, dude. Don't worry about it. People get bent out of shape and they lose their shorts over Russian Imperial Stout still, which kind of amazes me. I mean, these beers were super big in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then it's like, I don't know. I feel like people should have moved on by now, waiting in line for big beers like this.
No, it's all about the pastry stouts now, right? You have to add something
guess.
Stupid to it. Chocolate and...
So what is this, a Russian Imperial Stout? There's nothing added. It's not barrel-aged or anything like that. It's just a straight-up Russian Imperial Stout.
This does not smell like a 7-year aged Russian Imperial Stout. the time travel must have worked. I'm thinking.
I'll give you that. Well, I'll tell you what. It's room temperature. I'll give you that. This is 2017, but honestly, it tastes pretty good for being a year old.
I think I had a 2018 a couple weeks ago, which was a bad idea.
Yeah, it wasn't good?
No, somebody gave it to me, but it wasn't bad. But
the bad part of the idea was he pounded the whole bottle at once.
It was not bad.
It tastes kind of wordy, but I think these beers are obviously made to be aged. So I wonder if it goes back to our conversation in the last show about making beers specifically to age.
Yeah. There's a little wort. There's a little soy sauce. I mean, a lot of soy sauce, actually. It's kind of umami.
But that's what I mean. Like, do they... I would imagine that Three Floyds... Right? I'm a bad beer person.
Six Floyds, maybe?
Maybe. Who can tell?
Traveled.
Is designing this beer specifically for that. So I wonder, do they recommend, like, hey, give this 2 years before you open it, or 3 years, or whatever? Or they just release it like a lot of breweries do, where this is ready to drink now if you like this kind of thing, and if you don't, then just fucking buy two and sit on it.
Yeah, but a buddy brought some to the Mad Zymergist holiday party last year, and I think we were drinking some, like, 3 and 5 year or something like that, or 4 and 6, somewhere in that range. And it was, three different vintages between like a few years, and it was better a couple more years out than this.
Okay,
this is good.
What do you get out of this, Brian? Break this down. I mean, it's hard right after that sour beer, but
it is syrupy too. It is very syrupy.
Syrupy, and it tastes kind of unfermented, like unfermented wort.
The roast is subtle, though.
The roast is smooth. It's not. It's not biting.
It makes me wonder. Like, if I were going to tell people to age it for 3 to 5 years, I would bump the roast up and make it a little more aggressive. Even like barrel aging stuff, I would if I were going to make this for barrel aging that they're not doing. I would bump that stuff up as well. Maybe not. No, maybe not for barrel aging for roast though, because the astringency in the barrel and the roast together. I forget. I was doing something there.
No, this is going to dry out as it goes. The sweetness is going to back off, and that I think that roasty edge will come through a little more then, and that's what's going to be what makes the balance after a couple more years.
God, it is sweet.
Yeah.
Good God.
It's big too.
Yeah, and it's
very warming.
It tastes kind of smooth for a Russian Imperial Stout. I mean, the ones I've had the most of is the old Rasputin, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't taste anything like that. The old Rasputin kind of has some hop thing to it, like a little bitterness. It's not as sweet and cloying.
It's a smaller beer in general,
it's like
right?
9% as opposed to 13 point whatever, Yeah.
You saying this is smaller? This is smaller?
Bigger.
This is bigger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dark Lord's a big
old Rasputin's one of the smaller ones that
yeah.
So you're saying you can have a little more of those characters shine through, or I would think it'd be the opposite. I would think the bigger beer would have a little more
so you're getting sweetness from
punch to it.
The alcohol and the punch from all the the ingredients, just everything.
I think they also make it as a really big beer, and then
it's been
and then it doesn't actually fully ferment. I mean, it fully ferments out, but it ferments at a fairly high final gravity, and that's why it ages well. And when it gets thinner, it kind of tastes a little bit better overall.
Well, if you want to taste a little better overall, you should come to the city of Concord because it's the perfect place to start or expand your craft beer business.
City of Concord.
Centrally located in the Bay Area, it boasts strong craft beer loving demographics. I am not a strong craft beer loving person. I'm a weak craft beer tolerating person. City's historic, but I don't live in Concord. City's historic downtown is experiencing a boom with new businesses opening and new apartment developments in the pipeline. Concord's business industrial parks are centrally located off major freeways and are perfect for large-scale brewery operations. Give Brian Nunnally a call, the city's economic development team, at 925-671-3018. He's ready to help you.
Unirail.
What do you think about this beer? Do you guys like it? Is this something that you would lose your shit over?
No.
I've had better beers.
Yeah, not right now.
I've had better beers than this. And I remember having this once at like Firestone several years back, and it was like, okay, it's fine. I mean, it's fine, but I don't know why people are jazzed about this beer, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure they are anymore.
Think so?
I think it's kind of, I don't know. They have Dark Lord days still, and I don't think people were. I don't know. I think it's more about the event anymore than the actual beer.
Some brewers are really smart about the way they market things. Like Russian River does a great job of limiting access to. I mean, Pliny is a little easier to find these days, but the younger, people line up for that. So like in the morning.
I mean, it's the same thing with this release, right?
In some ways, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Keith. It's just the event
just sit
now.
at the same bar and drink another really good double or triple IPA, and I'm fine. I love Pliny the Younger, but I don't always want to wait in line for it. And sometimes you wait and you luck out, and they'll put on the second keg of the day, and then you just get in line and get like the shorter line.
What would you judge this beer
This
at?
is something that you don't get to have every day. I would judge this as age it some more, or don't do the.
I would change the recipe. Probably is what I would talk about. You make it a little less sweet, a little less sticky. Maybe up the roast. I mean, it kind of depends on it is kind of smooth right now. But
it is smooth. It's drinkable.
Interesting in that way, but it's like
Imperial
man,
Stout.
This is a lot of sugar in this beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would probably change the recipe somewhat, and I would talk to them like that. I'd probably give it like a 34.
Yeah, I would think so too, because it feels not jagged enough. It doesn't feel big in certain areas. It feels just kind of well-rounded, which is cool. It's a year-old beer, so it feels well-rounded, but there's not, to me, a whole lot of depth. It's like, here's some roast and here's some sweetness, and that's kind of just it, and here's this beer, and wait in line for it. And I don't know. I'm not a giant fan of it. All right, is that it?
Yeah.
Are we done?
It's, amazing how smooth they made it, and as it ages, it does change a lot. I think, hold on to those bottles.
Yeah. All right, I think we're done here, boys.
All right.
Keith.
It's been a pleasure.
God bless, dude. I wish you luck on your endeavors, moving to wherever the hell you're moving to. Reno, I think it is. Carson City.
It's a little more,
May the Dark Lord bless you with good fortune.
No, honestly, man, I really appreciate you coming in and being part of the show. I think you did a great job, and I'm sorry to lose you, man. But
no, thanks. It's been a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed it. It's been one of my highlights of living in the Bay Area is hanging out with you guys. So
nice.
Enjoyed it a lot.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. I'm sure Brian hates it. He doesn't like stuff like that. No, he doesn't like to get mushy at all.
It's all good.
It's chill. It's all chill, bro.
We've spent a lot of times, after this show, just in the parking lot at a bar. I drop him off there.
Yeah.
And just chatting about music and, sitting at the bar here after shows, and we've become friends. So
that's good.
A lot of people might say that Keith is a hard person to befriend.
I would say that, but yes.
A lot of people.
You know what? Having a few rough edges is all right. It's all
just like beers.
Right.
They age out. That's the beauty of it.
As you get older, you forget them, which is the whole thing.
I'm sure we will hear from Keith again.
Yes, I think so too.
We're going to drunk dial him on this show someday.
Yeah, I think we should do that also. All right, Keith. Good luck in your endeavors, my friend, and we'll see you at a judging table somewhere else
in the afterlife.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Cheers.
We'll be back next month with maybe a couple rotating people. We don't know. We're still figuring it out, but we have some good replacements.
Spinning their chairs.
If you know a good master
judge. All right. We'll see you guys later.